So I was recently reading an article by Ron Unger, who's a social worker up in the northwestern United States. And in this article, he raised the question, is it possible to have too much stability when it comes to mental health? Now, is this the ultimate goal in helping people with mental health concerns? I think this is a fantastic question, and so I want to talk about this a little bit. I think yes, absolutely, it is possible to have too much stability when it comes to mental health. Let's borrow a concept from physiology. So there's a concept called homeostasis, and the idea is that it's the maintenance of a nearly constant internal environment in the body. This is physiologically what happens if we just let our bodies do what they do. They maintain a constant internal environment. The concept itself is a little bit of a misnomer because this term was coined, and in all actuality what happens is it's more of an undulation around a set point. So think wave concept, think undulation. The idea being, it's not that the internal environment is completely constant and rigidly set at a point, but rather that as human beings we tolerate kind of swings around this set point. Sometimes the swings can be too far or too wide or too erratic, but ultimately we move between two set points. I think this is valid when it comes to mental health. So with some regularity, I have patients that will come into my office with bipolar disorder or another mood disorder, and they will report, we'll ask how they're doing, and, oh, doctor, I'm actually experiencing a fairly low mood. Okay, what's going on? Well, my mother died. Okay, so usually one of the first questions I ask is this a normal emotion that you're feeling? Sometimes I get this blank stare. I don't know, because I'm not used to experiencing normal in the world. So the point is, if 9 out of 10 people were to experience what you experience and then have a similar emotion, we have to ask ourselves the question, is it pathological to have this emotion? And the concept of feeling stable, or this goal of stability, actually hurts us in this place, because we need to realize that it's normal to swing between various different emotions as human beings. Being angry at the Holocaust is an appropriate kind of an emotion to have. Feeling sad when someone dies is appropriate. Now, can these things be exacerbated by a mental health concern? Well, certainly. Maybe you swing more widely, but ultimately the fact that you're experiencing sadness, the goal is not to eradicate the sadness entirely. The goal is to recognize its place, to understand that it has a point, and then to be able to adapt to the sadness and to express it in an appropriate way. So while you might feel anger at Hitler slaughtering Jews, does that mean that then you go out and, slaughter people in your own cult because that was horrible if that happened because I'm angry? No, it's not appropriate. Rather, there's a way to channel that anger in a good way. That's the point. So I like this concept of homeodynamics, undulation around a set point. Let me give you another example from mental health. Think about a personality disorder. Oftentimes the problem with a personality disorder is that it is tremendously stable, that it does not change over time, that it is excessively rigid. there is no adaptation, or the adaptation is it's maladapted. So for example, you interact with the narcissist and there's no changing the fact that your opinion doesn't matter. You're slamming up against a brick wall. You can't identify ways to work with this personality, because the personality is, well, it's my way or the highway. We don't compromise. There's this way or there's no other way. Right? You can't actually reason with the narcissist. So the rigidity of such a thing, the stability of such a thing, you cannot influence it. It stays the same. So I would argue that yes, there is a point where there can be too much stability. It's not human. It's very robot-like. And often I hear that from patients quite a bit when they, describe their experiences with, personality disorder. It's often the case, and it has been my own experience, that it's actually fairly stable in the response over time. There's this classic way that certain things happen, and that's the way they happen over and over again. So I feel that yes, there can be too much stability, and that ultimately should not be our goal in treatment. The goal is rather to be able to adapt to whatever changes come at us and to navigate the waves seamlessly. Thank you for tuning in, and do all those great YouTube things like subscribe, like, share, comment. We'll talk next time.